Across the endless stars, in a universe filled with crystalline empires and nebular kingdoms, one law echoed through every civilization, every academy, and every temple of reason. Do not wake the humans. It was a warning engraved on satellites, whispered in initiation rituals, and even coded into the artificial minds of newborn AIs. No one remembered exactly when the law was written or who had written it, but everyone obeyed, because even the most advanced species, the Zelians, whose very bodies shimmered like prisms in the light of twin suns, believed in fear wrapped in mystery. And nothing was more mysterious than the sleeping humans. The Zelians were the crown jewel of the galactic community. Their civilization floated in the high atmosphere of their homeworld, vast cities suspended in the clouds, built from self-growing crystal that sang in perfect mathematical harmony. They had mastered quantum mechanics before most species had mastered counting. They bent gravity like sculptors and wrote equations as art. Faster-than-light travel, to them, was no more impressive than a child learning to tie shoelaces. They prided themselves on logic, precision, and scientific beauty. But even they bowed to the ancient rule, don't wake the humans. To them, it was not superstition. It was survival instinct. Humans, according to every galactic archive, were an extinct or dormant species, biological entities who had barely reached the stars before vanishing into cryosleep. During their Third World War, when their planet teetered on collapse, humanity had apparently made a collective decision. If the world could not be saved awake, perhaps it could be preserved asleep. Entire colonies of human ships now drifted silently through space, massive arcs filled with millions of cryogenically frozen humans, their systems humming softly across millennia. No one approached them, no one investigated them, and above all, no one dared disturb them. Because for all the power the Zelians wielded, they obeyed that one rule without question. Chief Science Officer ZYTH of the Zelian Exploration Fleet was among the most respected scientists in the galaxy. One day, while surveying the Persian void, his crew detected a derelict human ark. The vessel was ancient, predating modern galactic technology by eons. Its hull was scarred by time but still emitted a faint energy signature. It shouldn't have been possible. ZYTH's crystalline body shimmered with curiosity. He ordered a respectful scan, nothing invasive, just observation. But his young assistant, Zix, fresh from the academy and brimming with reckless enthusiasm, had other ideas. Zix had been fascinated by humans for years. Their biology, their myths, their reckless inventiveness, all of it called to that spark of curiosity no scientist can fully suppress. Just a small probe, Zix insisted. We won't even touch them. Think of the data. ZYTH hesitated. He knew the law. He felt the weight of that old fear vibrating through every shard of his being. But curiosity has destroyed more than fear has ever protected. When the probe activated, it resonated with something deep inside the ship's cryogenic field. A hum began, then a vibration, then a heartbeat. Within seconds, systems that hadn't run in tens of thousands of years powered up in flawless synchronization. One by one, the cryopods began to glow. At first, it was beautiful. Then it was horrifying. Warning sirens echoed across the research ship. Monitors flared crimson. ZYTH's voice fractured into panicked tones. What did you do? Zix's crystalline edges dulled with fear. I don't know. The probe's frequency. It must have interacted with their cryo field. And then, through the static and chaos, came a sound that no Zelian had ever heard before. A voice, human and calm, transmitted on every frequency. Who dares disturb our slumber? The ancient ship fully awakened. Engines flared alive. Energy readings spiked beyond measurable limits. The humans were awake. Within minutes, an entire fleet surrounded the human vessel. Zelian warships formed a glittering barrier in orbit, ready to contain what no one understood. The High Commander herself appeared on every screen, her crystal hue darkening to ultraviolet rage. Do you have any idea what you've done? She thundered. The humans were supposed to sleep for another millennium. But before she could issue another order, the human ship's engines engaged. Ancient, primitive systems came alive with terrifying precision. It wasn't malfunctioning. It was moving. And the sensors detected emotion signatures, rising, flaring, unmistakably human. They weren't afraid. They were irritated. The Zelians prided themselves on diplomacy. They'd ended wars, reasoned with machine gods, and once convinced a hive mind to stop converting galaxies into paperclips. But never had they faced a species freshly awakened from a cosmic nap. Ambassador Crystal was chosen to lead the first contact. Her surface polished to perfection, her glow calibrated to 16 species standards of beauty. She rehearsed her speech 1,000 times. "We must be apologetic, humble, and diplomatic," she told her team. "They've been asleep. How bad could it be?" When the humans finally opened their docking bay, the delegation entered and immediately regretted it. Inside stood humans, in pajamas, messy hair, mugs of steaming liquid that their scanners identified as toxic, bitter, and addictive. Coffee. Their leader squinted, bleary-eyed. "So you woke us up early." Ambassador Crystal began her speech. "On behalf of the Galactic Alliance, we—" "Save it, Sparkles," the human interrupted. "Do you know how long it took to get 7 million people to agree on a sleep schedule?" The delegation froze. The translator circuits overheated. The humans were not threatening destruction. They were complaining. It began with small grievances, ruined sleep cycles, extinct snacks, outdated shows. Then it grew. Someone discovered that pizza no longer existed. The outcry shattered 3 zillion diplomats, literally. Someone else realized social media platforms had long since vanished. The phrase, social media withdrawal, crashed the translator's emotional index. The humans organized what they called a town hall meeting to discuss their issues. For the rest of the galaxy, that phrase was the equivalent of an extinction-level event. But soon, the complaining turned into laughter. "Wait," said one human, sipping their 10th coffee. "You think we went to sleep because of resources?" The galactic historians nodded cautiously. The humans roared with laughter. They hadn't gone into cryosleep because they were dying. They'd gone to sleep because they were bored. They'd solved everything: disease, poverty, war, energy, even laundry, and decided the universe could use a little peace and quiet while they took a break. The cryogenic pods, not life support chambers, quantum consciousness playgrounds. The humans weren't asleep. They were running simulations the size of galaxies, watching infinite universes unfold like dream reels. And the warning, "Don't wake the humans," that was their prank, their galaxy-wide out-of-office memo. As the truth spread, the universe trembled and then began to laugh with them. Within days, the humans were reorganizing star systems for better views. They installed galactic Wi-Fi that spanned dimensions. They invented food delivery across light years. The Zelians tried to resist, but resistance melted under charm and caffeine. They introduced weekends to species that had never stopped working. Casual Fridays to those that didn't wear clothes. The sight of crystalline beings trying to wear Hawaiian shirts became both art and therapy. Something strange happened. The universe relaxed. The feared void crawlers discovered bubble wrap and hot chocolate, and immediately abandoned interdimensional conquest for meditation podcasts. Galactic councils turned into community centers. Decisions were made over karaoke nights and game tournaments. Humans taught diplomacy through empathy, humor, and snacks. ZYTH, somehow surviving his blunder, was promoted to chief officer of keeping humans entertained. He still wasn't sure if that was a promotion or punishment. Schools changed. History classes began with laughter instead of dread. "Why do the humans pretend to sleep?" one teacher asked. "Because they were tired," a student replied. "Tired of what?" "Tired of us." Even the Zelian military adapted. Their warships now featured yoga studios and espresso bars. One admiral perfected the downward-facing dog and accidentally triggered a treaty. The galaxy had never been more peaceful, largely because everyone was finally allowed to take a nap. A year later, the Galactic Alliance gathered, not in war rooms but in beanbag circles. The High Commander raised a crystal goblet of espresso and smiled. "For millennia," they said, "we feared waking the humans, but perhaps we were really afraid of waking ourselves." The human leader, still in their bathrobe, grinned. "Don't worry, you did fine while we were out." Mostly. Even the void crawlers nodded politely, sipping tea through impossible mouths. One yawned, then another, A chain reaction of drowsiness rippled through humanity. ZYTH noticed first. Are you all right? The human leader stretched, smiling. Yeah, just thinking. Maybe it's time for another nap. Every crystal being in the room froze. You can't, Ambassador Crystal stammered. You just fixed everything. Exactly, said the human. Now we can rest easy. They promised to leave real instructions this time, though they joked about keeping the old warning for nostalgia's sake. And as the humans prepared for another long sleep, the galaxy watched with awe, fear, and a strange new affection. In the end, the universe learned a strange but simple truth. Sometimes, the most advanced species are the ones that know when to rest. Don't wake the humans was no longer a warning. It was a blessing, a reminder that brilliance without balance burns out the stars. The Zelians still tell the story, their crystalline cities glowing a little warmer now. When travelers pass near a drifting human ark, they lower their engines and whisper softly, "Sleep well, old dreamers. We've got things handled for now."